This is a story I call Damn Fool Kids. The setting is a row of shotgun houses on a dirt road that paralleled the main paved road across from the Shepherd Lumber Company. At that time, my brothers and I lived there. It was near a rural South Georgia town of McRae. We were often left to our own devices to watch out for each other and find ways to entertain ourselves as we roamed the community and surrounding areas. We were most often barefoot, dressed only in a pair of short pants or blue jeans, but that never stopped us from roaming the woods and playing in the ditch along the main highway or wading in the creeks in the area, usually catching crawdads. We were by no means like city kids. We were in fact tough as nails southern boys and not afraid to tackle anything. Well, almost anything. I must admit a terrible fear of snakes that inhabited the area. If you've ever read my story on rattlesnakes, you will most likely understand why. In today's story, I will relate a couple of things that come to mind. The year was 1953 or 1954, and I was in the first or second grade. I can't remember exactly which, but for the sake of telling this story, it doesn't really matter. I had just gotten off the school bus. It's still unloading kids. I had hatched a plan and was about to conduct an experiment. I charged to the rear of the bus, knelt down right in front of the large exhaust pipe that stuck out the rear of the bus. I took an apple someone had given me and quickly jammed it as far inside the exhaust pipe as possible and stepped back to observe what I was certain would either be a bus that quits running or an apple that explodes. The bus revved up to leave. Pressure must have been building up because the bus sputtered a few times. There was a resounding poof as the apple shot out the pipe like a bullet. I remember laughing so hard at the sight that I found it to be very funny. There were times life there became quite serious. I recall another time at the spot where we got off the bus that wasn't what one with any common sense would deem as fun. It happened that at the end of the road there was a family that consisted of 7 or 8 brothers, ranging in age from around 8 to 19 years old. I still remember their last name, but I won't mention it. They were wild as can be and pure trouble. Later that year, a couple of them even went to prison for murdering someone and placing the body on the railroad tracks to be ran over by a train in an attempt to cover it up, but they were caught. One day we were waiting for the school bus. Anyway, the youngest, who was a good year or two older than me, decided to single me out and begin bullying me. I was pushed down, hit a few times, called bad names, and I guess he thought he had me beaten. That was a mistake on his part, however. I got up, brushed the dirt off me, and flew into him with both fists, frailing and doing my utmost to either thrash him or die trying. He wasn't so tough when someone who would fight back got in there with him, and I got the best of him, giving him a bloody nose and a black eye. Afterwards, one of his older brothers told me not to ever turn my back on his younger brother because he would surely cave my head in with a rock if he ever got the chance. Needless to say, I never did turn my back on him. Being the oldest, it fell on me to always look out for my younger brothers. There were times I had to get inventive to protect them. I remember once we were playing by the creek. The water was running unusually high from flooding somewhere upstream, so rather than the usual 2 feet deep, it was well over our heads. None of us knew how to swim then. My youngest brother, who was about 3 years old, fell into the raging water and was instantly swept off down the creek. I remember him sinking below the water as he quickly washed away. I had to figure a way to save him, and precious few seconds to figure out how. I remember racing down the bank in an effort to overtake him. I ran very fast, and about 100 yards downstream I got a few feet ahead of him, jumped in, grabbing him with one arm, reaching back with my other hand and grabbing a handful of tree roots protruding into the raging water. I somehow managed to pull us out of the water. It's amazing how strong a person who is scared can be. We never told anyone about the incident because we knew our behinds would be blistered with a switch for going to the creek in the first place. I sometimes wonder how we survived it all, because we always seem to get in situations. I will conclude this story with an encounter with a snake. One summer's day we decided to go on a snake hunt. I, after all, had my trusty BB gun, so what could possibly go wrong? We were proceeding down a dirt road along a fence line near the woods behind a single row of houses along our road. We had already seen a couple of black racers. They usually run away, and it's shocking how fast they can move. The noise is startling when they slither away so fast. They go so fast you couldn't possibly get a beat on them with a gun anyway. Our little safari by then had my nerves on edge, but I had to stick it out after all. I wouldn't want my brothers to think I was chicken. To be called a chicken by anyone was far worse than being called a scaredy cat. We came to a rusty old cast iron stove sitting by the road. Maybe there was a snake here, I said. I looked under it and saw nothing. Dropping my guard a bit, I pulled open the rusty, squeaky oven door. Looked and thought, oh no, there really is a snake in here, and he's huge. BBs won't kill him, I thought. I instantly slammed the door shut. There was a house nearby, so we ran to the house yelling, "Snake, snake! Mr. Jones, there's a snake!" The old man come running out of his back door with a shotgun. "Where, boy? Show me. Where is it? Show me." We went to the stove. He held his gun up to his shoulder, got ready, and said, "Okay, boy, open the door." I no sooner had the door half open when a deafening boom, boom roared in my ears as the old man let him have it with both barrels. He blew that snake all to pieces. Then stood there quite mad at me. "You damn fool kids," he said. "That was a king snake." I quickly blurted out, "I didn't know." "But you shot without looking." I can still hear the old man mumbling to himself as he walked away. "Damn fool kids." I closed the door, and as far as I know, his bones might still be in that rusty old stove.